Alright y'all, welcome back to B&E Productions. I'm Ethan and here we are with another Airsoft review. So today we are going to be reviewing the Elite Force 1911 TAC. This is their Gen 3 version. I do have a Gen 2 version as well, and I'll kind of get into the backstory of this guy and that one in just a second. So start off with, this was like my first real Airsoft gun, 1911. CO2 powered. My first like airsoft gun from like a real credible manufacturer, and ordered from like a real airsoft distributors, such as Evic. So I wanted to have a secondary along with my Galaxy MP5. That's way old school, but I did want to have a sidearm. I saw this in tons of videos and I thought, man, that looks awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and try it out. So I've had this for about 5 years now. This has definitely seen its share of wear and tear. A couple things to note on this version that have broken over the years. My hammer. Well, the hammer still functions. If you can tell the difference between these two, like this one has kind of broken off on the rear of it. Does that affect performance? Not at all, but just something to note. And then also my safety no longer functions. So when the hammer is down, like I shouldn't be able to move this like this. And then also if I try to fire while it isn't safe, it will do that. Again, this gun is 5 years old. So just something to note. Does it affect the performance of it? No, not at all. This gun has been great, absolutely a beast, just taking wear and tear and just absolutely performing through it. So I think it's been great so far. The differences between these two are very small. As we go through them, I will point them out, but yeah, they are pretty much identical except for a couple small things. So to start off, we do have a threaded barrel. This is 14mm negative, so like for me, I run these thread protectors. They don't come with it, but it's simple, $10. Just go ahead and throw it on there. Well, I'm not using a mux suppressor or for filming, just to take that orange tip away, that look of it, just to kind of make it look a little bit more realistic for filming. As we move down the slide here, we do have front slide serrations, so that way if you need to do any type of manipulations, you can. We also have some in the rear as well, and that is on both sides of the gun. So both left and right, we have these nice serrations, so that way if for some reason your gun gets jammed up, you can clear a malfunction, or you just want to look cool, or whatever. It's got it on there. I actually have used them before in a game, so for people to say that they don't really do anything, I think they absolutely do. I went to present, and me and my friend, we were in the middle of a game. We both presented and nothing happened, just a quick clearing or trying to load or whatever the issue was, and I was able to get them out. So they absolutely do work. Below that, we do have an accessory rail, so for lights, lasers, etc., you can go ahead and put those on there. On the right hand side, I think we kind of have some ugly trades here. I mean, really, this is just their warning that is etched into the gun. I think it's kind of flashy. I don't really like that, especially when filming, and I think it kind of takes away from everything. We also have our made in Taiwan, and then our serial number. On the left hand side, we have the nice Elite Force 1911 TAC. I think this is a lot better because it's kind of like just their brand, what the model is, and then we also have Cal 6mm on the side there as well. Kind of getting into the frame of the gun, we have our slide release or slide stop, whatever you want to call it. And then we also have our magazine release on the left hand side. This gun is mainly set up for right-handed shooters. The safety is ambidextrous, so if I drop the slide here, it is both left and righty friendly, but for the magazine release and the slide release, they are both on the left hand side. Something to note about that, for me, I think I have, well, like my hands are kind of on the smaller side. Like for gloves, I wear a small. So for some people this may not be a problem, but for me it is, so I'm just going to mention it, is the 1911 is a little big in my hand, so when I go to a reload, I kind of have to break my grip a little bit, so that way I can, hit that magazine release. So say if I'm firing and then I, do my reload like so, that is just something to note. Say I'm locked back, because some people, they don't have to move their hand at all because their hands are quite big, so they can just hit that, and then with their thumb they're able to hit that slide release. It's pretty difficult for me, as you can tell. So typically what I'll do is when I do my reload and I bring my hand up, I'll use my thumb to hit that slide release and then keep going. So that is just something to note. Again, that is for righties. Lefties, you're not going to be able to do it on this particular model. So going into our grips on the Gen 3, we have this kind of nice, I don't know how you would describe this, but it is a pretty nice texturing. I think this is a little bit more comfortable than the Gen 2, and I'll show that in a second. But yeah, we have this nice texturing on the back strap. We also have texturing on the rear as well. On the front, it's pretty plain, so just something to note there. On the Gen 2, they do have different grips. This is more aggressive, more sandpaper kind of material, or grip I should say. And then we still have our texturing on the back, and the front is clean as well. So as we get back to the Gen 3 here, we still have our beaver tail safety. Honestly, I don't really like that feature, but that is, it's a 1911, it's gonna have it. But yeah, it's not my particular favorite, but we work with what we got because this is a fantastic gun. So as we keep moving forward here, let's talk about the trigger for a second. So the trigger, empty mag, no gas. It's pretty nice. You have a couple, just a little bit of play, but then nice clean break. And then it's just a really nice trigger. Let's do that reset. It's very positive, it's audible, you can hear it. Sounds good, and it's a really nice trigger pull. You're able just to pull the trigger and just reset, keep going. The sights are clean. I really like them. Have a single white dot in the front and then 2 white dots in the rear. I think they are very usable. So everything about this gun is just, it's very pointable, very shootable. Let's talk about magazines for a second. So we have 2 magazines here. We have a standard magazine that it comes with, holds a CO2 cartridge, and then about 12 to 14 BBs, depending how much you cram in there. Only problem is once this follower kind of gets too low and you pack too many, sometimes it'll catch. So then it won't continue to feed, so then you'll have to take the magazine out and readjust the follower. So try to stick with 12 BBs. That is one of the downsides to the 1911, is the reduced magazine capacity. For the CO2 consumption, it's actually really good. You can get about 4 full magazines out of 1 cartridge, so it's pretty great. But say you want to up that capacity, you can also have your extended mags. These are about 28 rounds. Does kind of stick out of the gun a little bit, but say you're running this as a primary, you're in CQB or something along those lines, these work great. For the CO2 cartridge consumption, it's about 2 mags worth of 1 cartridge. So for 50 something BBs, that's pretty okay. some magazines from other companies for different guns, they have a wide range of capacity and CO2 consumption, but just something to note there. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and jump into the Chrono section. 296. Misread. Hold on. 298. 290. 290. 286. 282. Misread. 294. 280. 279. So with the Chrono, really solid numbers, really consistent. And no problems really playing with this anywhere. And yeah, I just think this is a pretty fantastic gun. One thing I did want to mention is holsters. I use a G-Code XST. Real simple. Got the hood. Bam, do your draw. This is what I upgraded to. Originally, I had like this Matrix, pretty cheap holster, just something to have it in. Honestly, I don't really think these holsters, like for Airsoft, yeah, they work fine. But I don't know, I don't like the design of this. I feel like my finger's gonna slip in the trigger guard and I don't want to NB. So I would stick with something like this. All in all though, these guns are great. Like I've said, I've had this one for almost 5 years now. And then with my Gen 3, I've had it for probably 4 or 5 months now. Still loving it. There's a reason I bought 2 of these. I think they're great. Takedown is very simple. If you've never broken down a 1911, you have this notch here on the slide. You'll just go ahead and push that, and then you'll take the slide release out, and then that separates the two, so you can go ahead and take a look at those 2 parts. Really easy to use and clean. I clean these about every time I use them, so just something to keep in mind. You're going to want to lube them, make sure that they're good. So to put these back together, you'll just line up the tracks, slide the frame back on, and then you'll reinstall the slide release on that same notch that you took it out. And then make sure that the slide doesn't fall off. And we are good to go. Very simple. These guns are great. Highly recommend them. Yeah, they come in a variety of color schemes. Like the Gen 2s, they come in this, and then I think a silver. This says this, the all black, and then I think a gray, stealth gray or something like that. Definitely plenty of options. I would definitely highly recommend these. So yeah, if you have any other questions, go ahead and leave those down in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and have a great rest of your day.